Sagging arms are not a sign of age, but a symptom. Every night while you sleep and don't think about anything, do you think your body is quietly burning collagen, the same protein that keeps the skin on the hands taut and elastic? And here's what's important to understand. For 50 years, this process has been accelerating, so much so that in 1 year you lose up to 2% collagen. And if it seems that this a little, do the math yourself. Over 10 years, the hand loses a fifth of its inner frame, not from age, not from gravity, but from 4 specific reasons that no one really tells you about said. And one of them is that you do it every morning, sincerely believing it healthy. You know what really annoys me about this topic? The fact that women come to see me and they say, "Roman Igorevich, what's wrong here? Will you do it? Age." And they wave their hand, literally with this very drooping arm, as if they were saying goodbye to her forever. And I look at this hand and I don't see age. I see a symptom that is quite obvious, a specific reason, and therefore quite a specific solution. My name is Roman Igorevich. I am a doctor with 20 years of experience. And today I want to explain to you, this is what I explain to patients every day. Only there I have 15 minutes, and here I can talk as much as necessary. So, under the skin on your arm there is not just fat and muscle. There is a framework that keeps the entire structure in shape. Imagine a spring mattress. The springs these are collagen fibers. And while they hold, the mattress keeps its shape and does not sags. But as soon as they start break one after another, mattress sags, the surface wobbles and it sags. And exactly the same thing happens to the hand, the same thing, only from the inside. And here the interesting part begins. Collagen is not it just ages on its own, destroy very specific things. And in this case, the organism could restore. He has it for that. Everything is necessary, but something is preventing the process to start. 4 specific reasons are interfering, and until you do them eliminate, no cream, no gymnastics, and no proper nutrition in general, they won't give any results at all. I've seen this hundreds of times. I had a patient, Valentina Nikolaevna, 62 years old. A retired teacher came with a complaint on the joints, but I immediately noticed in his arms and asked, "How long has it been like this?" She says, "It's been about 8 years already." I thought it was hereditary. My mother was the same. We took tests and figured out the reasons. And after 3 months, she sent me photograph. I wouldn't say that my hands became like at 20. It would be a lie. But the difference was completely visible with the naked eye because they removed the cause, rather than covering up the symptom, outside. That's what today is all about. Conversation. Not about how to hide, but about why is this happening and what can be done about it. Reason 1. Chronic inflammation that you don't feel really do it. And the first reason you will surprise because most people don't like it, they don't feel it at all, they live with it for years nearby, and meanwhile she quietly eats them collagen from the inside. Imagine that somewhere in the wall of your house there is a quiet, smoldering fire wiring. It doesn't burn in the open, exactly, it's smoldering. There's no smoke, no smell, that's all. Looks okay, but insulation is slow melts and at some point, bang, short circuit. Here is chronic inflammation. This is exactly the kind of smoldering wiring, only it burns not in the wall but in yours body, and it melts collagen day after day during the day. In medicine, this is called low-intensity inflammation. No fever, no pain, blood test almost normal. The doctor looks and says everything is fine, and the process is, it's going. The immune system for some reason, she decided that she had something to do with it, fight, and throws into the blood substances that attack in between connective tissue, your skin, your blood vessels, your joints. And where does it come from? Is this inflammation? This is where the worst begins. Interesting. The first source is the intestines. When the microflora is disturbed, its wall becomes permeable, and new things appear in it, microscopic holes, and through them and substances seep into the blood it's not supposed to be there. The body reacts. Constant, background, silent inflammation. The second source is adipose tissue, and here it is what most people don't know. Fat, the cells themselves produce inflammatory substances. And the more fat in the area belly, the higher this background, inflammatory background throughout the body, including the skin of the hands. The third source is chronic stress. Cortisol, which released under stress directly inhibits collagen synthesis. One episode severe stress blocks its production for 24 hours, and if the stress is chronic, the blocking becomes permanent. There was a patient, Gennady Petrovich, 58 years old, engineer, complained of fatigue and skin. He says, "I don't drink, I don't smoke, I eat normal. Where did this come from? I look at the tests. C-reactive protein is elevated, minor, clears throat and increased. I'm asking about stress. Says no, everything is fine, it's just work. And work is 12 hours a day. Conflicts with superiors, some for 5 hours. This is chronic stress, silent, habitual, deadly for collagen. But reason 2. Sugar and collagen glycation, there is something that works even faster, chronic inflammation. And it's not poison, not a cigarette, and not alcohol, but most likely they ate it for breakfast today. Sugar. Wait, don't turn it off. I'm going to give you a lecture about diabetes. I want to talk about a specific one, a mechanism that you are most likely wondering about no one said. It's called glycation, and here's how it works. Imagine that very collagen fiber spring from our mattress, and now imagine that you are this spring coat with caramel and put in the oven. It sticks together, loses its elasticity, becomes hard and brittle, stops spring back. That's exactly what sugar does, your collagen. It literally glues fibers between themselves, after which they hold their shape and the skin sags. And here it is, a figure that still has me stunned goosebumps. This process begins when blood sugar level is already 6.2. Not 8, not 10, and 6.2. What doctors often call, well, a little elevated. Keep an eye on nutrition. And collagen at this time is destroyed every day, and is destroyed forever. Glycated collagen is not restored, the body it is disposed of, and a new one must be built. But if the sugar is still high, new immediately glycates again, and the circle closes in. I had a patient, Lyudmila Stepanovna, 64 years old. Originally from the question is specifically about the hands. They hung down the last 3 years sharply, although the weight is not changed completely. I'm looking at the tests. Sugar 7.1, glycated hemoglobin 6.8. Formally, it's not diabetes, but collagen is already 3 years under constant attack. Removed fast carbohydrates, added chromium and berberine, repeated after 12 weeks test results. Sugar 6.0, skin hasn't gotten any younger. In 3 months. But the process of destruction stopped, and this is already a real victory. You know, I've been talking about this for 20 years. To patients at the reception, and now I say here to reach those who I haven't reached, the doctor yet. If it matters to you, subscribe. I come out every week. But reason 3, deficiency of vitamin C, silicon, and lysine, even if you remove sugar completely, this may not be enough. Because the third reason works independent of the first 2, and not connected with the fact that you eat too much, and with what you are sorely lacking, those building materials, without which the body simply cannot build collagen, no matter how healthy you are. In all other respects, there are 3 such substances, exactly 3, and there is a shortage of each occurs in people after 50 times more often than is commonly thought. First, vitamin C, and I can already hear it, Roman Igorevich, but this is banal. Look, vitamin C is not just for immunity. Without it, collagen, the molecule, literally cannot fold into the correct form, and the body produces defective collagen, weak, loose, which deteriorates 3 times faster normal. More than 40% of people over 55 years has a subclinical deficiency vitamin C. Not a disease, just constant shortage, and collagen from this suffers every day. The second substance is silicon, and here is where the majority is surprised. This is a mineral that is responsible for the elasticity of the connective tissue fabric. Imagine a rubber band. For now it has enough elasticity. It stretches and gets back into shape, but as soon as dries out, cracks and sags. After 50 years, the level of silicon in tissues falls by 30 to 40%. And no one tells you about it. Says because silicon just are included in the standard blood test. Third, lysine clears throat amino acid, one of the main building blocks collagen molecule. And without it, the organism cannot complete the assembly fibers, like a house, without a foundation. People who switch to a plant-based diet for the sake of health very often receive it as precisely lysine deficiency, because in there is critically little of it in plant proteins. And I've seen this in patients over and over again. I had Nina Alexandrovna, 57 years old, vegetarian, 8 years old, very careful about myself, drank green smoothies, avoided sugar, and the skin of the hands feels like E75. We took a comprehensive analysis. Lysine lower boundary, flints were not determined in general. Vitamin C is constantly deficient. 3 substances were added. After 3 months, she called herself and said, Roman Igorevich, I just don't believe my own. Reason 4, lymphatic congestion in the arm eyes. But even if everything is fine with you and with inflammation, and with sugar, and with these 3 substances, the 4th reason can bring all this to nothing. And about her, even many doctors say, although she concerns every second person after 50. We're talking about lymph. Most people know well about the circulatory system, but few people think about lymphatic, although she has an indispensable task. To remove waste from tissues, toxins, destroyed proteins, excess liquid, and carry it all away recycling. Imagine a sewer in-house. As long as the pipes are clean, everything goes away. Quickly and without problems. But it's worth it. Clogged, standing water, trash accumulates, rotting begins. Lymphatic congestion is a clogged sewer inside your hand. What if what's going on here? The fabric is literally saturated with decay products. Cells that must build new ones, collagen, floundering in toxic broth. Synthesis drops, the skin loses tone. And here's the paradox. Outwardly, it looks like excess fat. The hand is soft and shapeless. People go on diets and nothing changes because it's not fat, but stagnation. Where does it come from? And mainly from 3 things. Sedentary lifestyle. Lymph, unlike blood, does not have its pump. It is moved by muscles. And if you move little, your lymph is stagnant. That's all. Simple. Tight clothes and wrong posture. Compressed lymph nodes in the axillary region disrupts the outflow from whole hand. And I have seen patients which the problem was partially solved just from changing underwear. And there's a shortage, squirrel. Lymphatic vessels maintain their shape thanks to protein structures. And when there is not enough protein, the blood vessels become sluggish, lymph flow weak. I had patient Sergei Vladimirovich, 61 years old, a former military man, a strong man, but his hands loose, especially in the triceps area. He says, "I'm not fat." Roman Igorevich, where is this from? I touched it. Characteristic softness, non-greasy, lymphostasis. Added a simple morning routine program for 10 minutes. In just 6 within weeks, he himself felt the difference. The fabric has become noticeably denser. Now 3-minute home test. Find your cause, the most practical question. Which one exactly 4 reasons are yours? Because acting on guesswork is like drinking pills without knowing the diagnosis. Therefore, let's take a look at a simple home test. It is done by hand and takes 3 minutes. Stand in front of the mirror and raise your hand horizontally, as if you were showing inside, and look at the inside shoulder surface, triceps. Action first. Take the skin with 2 fingers triceps and pull up slightly as if you were gathering it into a small fold. Then let go and count how long it takes seconds the skin return to its place. If for 1-2 seconds turgor is maintained. If for 3-5, there is not enough collagen. And if longer than 5 seconds is a serious signal specifically about the shortage of construction materials. Vitamin C, silicon, and lysine. Action 2. Press pads of the thumb on the soft part of the triceps. Press for 2-3 seconds. Remove your finger and look. If there is a dimple, disappeared instantly, good. If it lasts longer than 3 seconds, this is lymphatic stagnation. The tissue is soaked with liquid and does not have time to recover. Action 3. Look at the skin color in triceps area and compare with color wrist. If the skin is visible on the triceps, dull, grayish, or has small or reddish mesh, is a sign chronic inflammation because inflammatory substances disrupt microcirculation and the skin literally suffocates. And Act 4, remember the last blood test. Was there one? Is your sugar level above 6 or 0? Your face was reactive. Is the protein above 1? If so, even within the limits of the formal norm, this is already working destroyers. 1 point, 1 reason, 2 or more. Combination, which occurs in 7 out of 10 my patients older than 50. Was that I am Galina Ivanovna, 59 years old, I came from Threshold, says Roman Igorevich, I tried it, nothing helps. They did the test right in the office. Pit lasted for 4 seconds. Lymphostasis, skin gray and dull, inflammation. Sugar in last analysis 6.5, 3 reasons at the same time, and that's why nothing had helped. She only worked with 1 and the other 2 continued calmly. Nutrition. What to remove and what to add destroy. Now everything is in 4 of its horns, and it's time figure out nutrition. Specifically without blurry, eat more vegetables. What remove, what to add, in which quantity. And one product will definitely suit you, will surprise you, because most people finds it useful. Let's start with the fact that need to be removed because for now these things, there's nothing to build on your desk. That's all. Will be destroyed faster than recover. The first thing, and this is that the most promised surprise, fructose. That there is no sugar in its pure form and no cakes, namely fructose, the one in juices, honey, dried fruits, healthy fruit bars. Fructose glycocates collagen 7 times faster than regular glucose. 7 times. And a glass freshly squeezed orange juice applies the blow to collagen is stronger than a piece white bread. I understand that it's unpleasant to hear, but I can't speak you what you want to hear. I say what actually is. Second, vegetable oils with a high content omega-6, sunflower, corn, soy. They provoke chronic inflammation is not because the bad ones themselves, but because there are too many of them in our diet. The ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 should be 4:1 and most people after 50 at 20. Oh, and it's continuous inflammation background noise around the clock. Thirdly, alcohol. And here's a specific number. 1 glass of wine blocks collagen synthesis for 8 hours. It doesn't destroy, it just blocks synthesis. And if it's every evening, count for yourself, how long per month does your collagen last? It's paused. Now what should I add? Bone broth 200 ml per day, natural source of ready-made collagen and glycine who is directly involved in the assembly fibers, and you give the body ready-made bricks without forcing him to produce them from scratch. Eggs, specifically the yolk. It contains lysine, which I already talked about, and biotin, which retains moisture in connective tissue. And 2 eggs a day. It's not harmful, it's proven, but for skin is a serious support. Red bell pepper. 1 pepper contains 3 times more vitamin C than orange, and without fructose, that makes it an ideal source for collagen synthesis. And fatty fish 3 once a week. Mackerel, sardines, salmon, which contains omega-3 and helps restore the disturbed balance. Was that I am Tamara Grigorievna, 60 years old. I changed the sunflower oil to olive oil, removed the juices, added broth and pepper. No additives and no procedures. After 8 weeks, the skin on my hands noticeably tightened up, and she herself, I was surprised. I almost didn't do anything changed. Almost. But that's exactly what a movement that triggers collagen synthesis necessary. Nutrition is half the job. But there is one movement that starts collagen synthesis directly in the tissues of the hand and does not require a gym, dumbbells, or trainer. The logic would seem simple. I want to tone up my arms, I need to pump them up triceps. And most people do just that, and they do. But their arms remain drooping, because muscle and skin are different tissue. And you can pump up your triceps to the hardness of a stone, and the skin above it will still hang out. Muscle, the load does not trigger collagen synthesis in skin. They trigger two other mechanisms. The first is lymphatic drainage through movement. Lymph moves only when muscles are working, but not under any load. It's better for the hand rhythmic smooth movements work in general movements with full amplitude. No jerking with dumbbells and slow ones, as if you are mixing a very thick dough. Raise both arms out to the sides to shoulder level. Then slowly, in 4 counts, lower them down, simultaneously squeezing and unclenching fists. It literally squeezes the lymph out of tissues, like squeezing a sponge. 20 repetitions every morning, and lymphatic, the pump is running for the whole day. The second one mechanism, mechanical tension connective tissue. Collagen cells, fibroblasts begin to be active, produce new collagen specifically in response to tissue stretching. When the tissue stretches, the cells receive a signal to build more. Stretch your arm forward, turn it around palm up. With the other hand, gently bend your fingers back towards you and hold for 10 seconds. You will feel tension over the entire inner surface arms from fingers to armpits. 3 approaches on each side. And thirdly, the most simple and underrated, spring on horizontal bar 30 seconds in the morning. Under the influence, the entire connecting part of its own weight, the hand tissue receives uniformity longitudinal stretching. Fibroblasts by the entire length are activated simultaneously. There is no horizontal bar. The door frame, behind the top, the edge of which you can hold on to, gives. I had a similar effect. I had Nikolai Semenovich, 63 years old, lives in a dacha. There are no exercise machines nearby. I gave it to him. These 3 exercises for 10 minutes in the morning. After 4 weeks, he calls and says, "Roman Igorevich, my hand has become somehow different. It feels denser or something." That's precisely why that the fibroblasts have finally started working. Creams, massagers, and wraps. An honest analysis. Now let's be honest about what is active sold outside. Creams, massagers, wrapping, hardware procedures. Let's figure out what really works, what it doesn't work as promised, and that's not works at all. Let's start with creams and the most popular question at the reception. Roman Igorevich, what about the collagen cream? Does it help? I'll be honest. No, molecule collagen is too big to penetrate the skin barrier. She remains on the surface, creating feels smooth and washes off when the first wash. You're paying for the illusion that retinol in creams actually works, a derivative of vitamin A that penetrates the skin and stimulates fibroblasts produce their own collagen. And niacinamide, vitamin B3. It improves barrier function and retains moisture in the tissues. Here are 2 components, which are worth looking at the labels. All the rest in most cases marketing. Massagers, vacuum cups, rollers and vibration massagers are working partially. Mechanical impact stimulates lymphatic drainage and temporarily improves microcirculation. But the key, the word is temporary. If you don't change your diet, do not move, and do not remove the causes, the effect disappears within 48 hours. Massager without eliminating the cause. This is ventilate the room with the door open sewer. The smell goes away within an hour and comes back. Wrapping, film, clay, seaweed. Honest answer, no. Fat doesn't come out through the skin. Lymphostasis. Wrapping doesn't cure it. Grams just disappear. Water in return at the first glass. 2 centimeters immediately after the procedure is not. The result is a temporary illusion. Hardware procedures, separate conversation, and there is an exception here. Radio frequency lifting really works. It heats up the deep layers of the skin to temperature at which collagen, the fibers, are compressed, and at the same time the production of new collagen is launched. It's not marketing, it's physics, but the effect cumulative. You need at least 6 sessions. And it only works in the background. Normal nutrition and elimination of causes. Do radio frequency lifting and continue drinking juice in the morning. Money on wind. Irina Borisovna, 58, was with me. Years, spent 80,000 rubles in 2 years wraps and creams with collagen. The result was 0. She came back upset, then nothing will help anymore. I say, it will help. You just treated the symptom outside, but the reason was inside. They removed it. Reasons. And after 3 months, she herself said that she sees more results than for all 2 years of salon procedures, 12-week protocol. Step by step, starting tomorrow morning, taken together. And now the main thing is what to do, starting with tomorrow morning. Step by step, week by week, no confusion, 12 weeks. Why 12? Because the collagen cycle from the launch synthesis until the maturation of a full-fledged fiber takes from 8 to 12 weeks. And if you don't see the result after 3 weeks, it doesn't mean that nothing, it's just not biology, is in a hurry. This is not a sprint, it's construction. Week 1 to 4th foundation, we remove destroyers. Liquid fructose disappears completely. Sunflower oil, we change it to olive oil. Alcohol, if you can remove it completely, Then at least it won't every day and never in the evening before sleep, when the main synthesis takes place collagen. Add bone broth, 200 milliliters per day. Can be used in the morning instead of tea. And 10 minutes of movement every morning. 20 smooth swings with clenched fists. Wrist and face stretch 30 seconds. Weeks 5 through 8. Saturation. Add 3 substances. Vitamin C 500 milligrams per day in the form of ascorbate, not ascorbic acid because the acid irritates the stomach. Flints in the form bamboo extract or horsetail. These are the most easily digestible. Sources: lysine if food mixed, 2 eggs a day close need. If you are on a plant-based diet nutrition, supplement 500 milligrams per day. On this at the same stage, fatty fish 3 times a week and red bell pepper at least half a piece a day is a must raw because during heat treatment vitamin C is destroyed by 60%. Week with 9th through 12th. Control and correction. By this point, you should feel the changes, exactly feel with your hands. Not necessary see in the mirror. The skin becomes different, they feel denser to the touch. These are fibroblasts. We've got it working, let's do a repeat test. If the dent from pressing disappears faster, lymphostasis goes away. If the skin returns in 2 to 3 seconds instead of 5, collagen is being restored. Now if desired, radiofrequency can be added lifting. It will give real results because it works for the prepared soil. 6 sessions with an interval of 1 or 2 weeks and the effect will be completely others. And lastly, the most important of everything that has been said today is not a course for 12 weeks, after which you can breathe out and return to the old. This transition to another mode, permanent, not strict, not exhausting, just other habits every day. Olive oil instead of sunflower oil. Pepper instead juice, 10 minutes in the morning instead of 0. It's not a feat as a decision that is made once. Svetlana Yurievna was with me, 63 years old, came skeptical, says Roman Igorevich, I'm no longer in... I don't believe it. I completed all 12 protocols, weeks without a break. Then she came again, silently lifted her sleeve and showed her hands. I understood everything without a single word. She just smiled. That's all I wanted for you. Say today. Flabby hands are not sentence and not just age. These are 4 specific reasons, each of which there is a concrete solution. And now it's in you are here. I am Roman Igorevich Tlyashev. See you next week.